So how are we late?
What'd you say?
Never mind.
Oh,
I'll ask you later.
can we take Wednesday morning instead of tomorrow?
I can't do Wednesday morning.
Thursday night?
Can we talk about this later?
Yeah. You just woke up.
No, I've been up for some time, but I have to look into the questions you're asking.
Yes. Look into
They're
the
not
future.
online. Thank
That's
you.
sure thing. How y'all doing? How's everybody? Welcome to Maximize Monday. We hope
Hey
everybody's
guys.
doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Um, I was looking through the history. Somebody posted that today was the day that um, the Popeyes chicken sandwich 3 years ago.
Was it today?
Yeah, the hype started to this month, and then
Oh no.
we've been in trouble ever since.
It's the start of it all.
It didn't start going downhill, like culturally,
It's so
over
bad.
some chicken sandwiches and stuff. Right, showing the worst of us. But we hope everybody's doing well. It is a great Monday morning. It's nice outside too,
Yes, nice.
and God's good. And we hope that you will please do us a favor and share. And shout us out, comment. We see the numbers going up.
Mhm.
Let us know who's watching, where you're watching from. If it's your first time, type VIP in the chat, and we'd love to hear from you. Y'all, excuse me. I was doing good for a while, drinking no coffee, and yeah,
Backslid.
yeah, then I backslid. Now, if I don't have a cup, it feels like I feel off. I need to detox again.
Yeah. I remember you mentioned it a couple weeks ago. It's like, oh, he's drinking coffee again.
Well, it's pumpkin spice season, so I gotta go in and get my pumpkin spice,
Mhm.
and I wanted to try Starbucks again. And I have to apologize. Starbucks coffee is really good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a coffee person, I like iced coffee, so I'll go to Starbucks for like
It's
their
all the sugar. That's all you like.
iced cappuccinos and whatnot. But
It's all the sugar. That's all you like.
yeah, but
Flavored
I
sugar.
haven't had it in like a year or so. So
Yeah, whatever. Hello,
yeah.
Mona. How are you? What's up, Will? How you
Hey
doing?
guys.
So I'm slowly coming to myself. I'm gonna try not to drink a cup of coffee, but oh man, I was doing so good too.
It's okay. We fall, but we get back up.
Yes. Yes. And then I had ice cream and some cake. I was trash this week. It was bad. There's this spot, I'll tell you after the spot. You don't like ice cream like that, right?
Mm,
Oh, I am. Never mind. Don't worry about it. You're so strange. You're just weird.
I mean, I will eat ice cream, but it's just not like, oh, I need to go get some ice cream.
Not no soft serve and like a Sunday and oh my god, you're the worst.
There's
You're the worst.
just other things that I indulge in
Now, I
besides.
know I can't record in peeps. Like
Exactly.
weirdo. Um, hey Keisha, hey Barbara, how you doing? Thank you all for coming on. Shout us out. Thank you for everybody who helped with the back to school drive.
Yeah.
We gave out backpacks and school supplies and all that, and we appreciate you all. We got to talk to Nefessa about getting some pictures. Do you have her number?
Oh yeah, I have it.
Can you text her and see if she can take some pictures of the thing today from the
Oh,
far
for
field?
today.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, Thank you all for donating. We are getting ready for our Thanksgiving drive in November, as we are going to give away turkeys. Our toy drive in December, um, giving away toys. And we thank you all for your continuous help in these particular areas. God is good, y'all.
Hmm.
And God takes care of his people, and he uses people to take care of them. So we look to be a blessing to the community again. Again, please share at this time. So we're not done with those pictures, are we?
I'm sorry.
We're not done with those pictures, are we?
From what? Catch the Fire?
No, from the things we've been going over the past few weeks.
Oh, okay. I needed some clarity. No, we have some more.
We both are like kind of like
Well,
Not too
I was
many.
texting digging the Festa to make sure. Let's see. Let's do.
I know you were, but you was all you were, we're both kind of like a little tad bit. Your hair's flowing today, though. I give you that.
That's all that matters in the world.
Yes. Oh, remind me to tell you about those pictures too. I got to change the date for that. Sorry.
Okay.
I got a couple things we got to talk after we're done.
It's okay.
I
Let's
s-
do. Did we do this
hmm.
one? I think we did.
I think we did that one already.
We
We
did
did
this
that
one
one.
last week. Did this one, I think, too.
That one. We did that one.
We did? Oh,
Yep.
yeah, we did.
We
I
did
think we
this.
did this too. This is
We
all
did.
I have.
That was it.
Yeah. Let me make sure I'm not missing any. Yep, that's all of them.
Oh, okay. There's this one that I posted on Instagram. If I find it, I'll send it to you real quick. Here, I'll send it to you now.
Okay.
And it talks about continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection.
Mm-hmm.
Continuous continuous improvement. You want me to email it to you or text it to you?
You can text it to me.
All right. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. I honestly believe, in all honesty, now I could be wrong.
This is a tough one for me.
I know I could be wrong, but there's this theory called paralysis of analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Paralysis of analysis is your analytical side. You're analyzing something so much that you eventually do nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why they call it the paralysis of analysis, because you're always thinking about it, always praying about it. And nothing wrong with that. You have to think through stuff. You have to pray through stuff.
Yeah.
You have to plan. You have to strategize. This is not an anti-strategy, anti-planning type thing. But I think sometimes we use, hey, Kevin, sometimes we use the thought of I'm still analyzing, I'm still working through it, I'm still thinking about it as an excuse not to do it.
Yeah.
Where we watch this, instead of just saying we're scared, we fall back into the I'm still contemplating, still praying about it. And I think sometimes we get into that place where you overthink or you overweight or you overdo to the point where you're doing nothing. But again, it's a convenient excuse.
Yeah. As I said, we use it as a scapegoat to not actually move and to act on our fears or insecurities because we really just don't want to face them. Instead of doing things like we said last week, little by little, to get past it all.
Yeah, and especially those perfectionists. You can put the picture back up real quick. Especially those perfectionists out there. Continuous improvement is better than delayed perfection. So, for instance, people often say, "Well, I can't do it this way, so I might as well not do it at all."
Mm-hmm.
I can't do X, Y, and Z, so I might as well not do it at all. But little improvements, continuous things, is better than just sitting there waiting for it all to come together. So, for example, say you want to walk or run a mile. Why don't you just start walking or running for like 5 minutes? And you can take that now. And then slowly just improving on what you're doing to get to where you want to go. We're so caught up, and this is one of the problems we have, I think, as human beings we have. We're so caught up on the end result that we ignore the process to get there, or we don't want the process to get there.
Yeah.
So, yes, Spencer, procrastination for some is often just a result of their fears. Most people aren't lazy just to be lazy. I'll convince that. Some people are just straight up lazy. Most people are lazy to be lazy. A lot of people procrastinate, and what comes across as lazy is them being held up in fear, anxiety, stress, some emotional or mental thing that's producing itself in inaction. Not justifying the inaction. I'm just saying the source of it.
Yeah.
And we procrastinate because of whatever reason, and that procrastination can get us in trouble over and over again. How many times have we waited to do something, and then when we went to do it, you're pulling your hair out to get it done because it needs to be due by a certain time. This perfectionist like y'all probably
I have my moments.
I know. and then you're like, I got to stop doing this because it's not good for me to be,
It's not healthy, yeah.
running around at the end of the last minute to get everything done when I could have been did this before.
Yeah. I don't know, it's weird because I know I'm definitely one to say, like, if it can't be done right, then then don't do it. And I still stand behind that, but I think what the difference is what the idea of right is.
True.
Because you can be right and taking your, doing things piece by piece. And I don't know, it depends. Like for me, if I can't do it in the right spirit, or I can't do it and have it be, like I'm putting good work into it, like I'm giving it my all, don't do it. So I think that you need to kind of keep that in mind too.
Well, Jesus does say count the cost, before you do anything. So that is important. Also, again, here's another question too. As you brought it up, and I think you're right on this. What's defined as done right? Some things you can actually say, yes, this is the best way to do it. If I can't do it the right way, let's not do it at all. But I think sometimes in our minds, we have a way that we want it to be done that's perfect. They say shoot for perfection and you'll hit excellence.
Right.
And I think that's where the measure is, not perfection, excellence. But I know people, and I'm sure you're one of them, where if something is 99.5%, we'll focus on that 5% rather than celebrating the 99.5% that was right. It's almost like that little small percentage invalidates everything else.
Yeah, because it's easy to internalize that into, okay, what did I do wrong to not make it that 100%?
And I don't think there's anything wrong with analyzing how to make something better. But should that 5% mess up your day, mess up your view of the event because 5% didn't work, but 99, less than 5% didn't work when a huge percent of it did work. I think we have a tendency to celebrate the negative more than the positive.
Yeah.
Rather than, and I think part of that is, I was reading a book, what's the book called? By Marcus Buckingham. I think it's called Discovery of Strength or something like that, one of them. And in the book, he talks about, I think that's the book, he talks about how parents train their kids subconsciously. So a child will come home with, 2 A's, 3 A's, 2 B's, and 1 C. What do you think the parents going to talk about the most?
The C.
The C, right?
Yep.
And harp on that C and say, well, good job with the rest, and then spend a half hour talking about this C.
Yeah.
And what he said was, it slowly trains children to completely ignore all the great stuff they're doing. Never celebrate those things.
Yep.
Focus on what's wrong to let that invalidate all the good, because the premise he was bringing up is that all of us are good at stuff and some of us will never be good at certain things.
Yeah.
Perfecting our strengths and being better at our weaknesses. Say somebody, I know people like this, they'll never be good at math. It's just no matter how hard they try, they will never get A's and A pluses. It's just not their thing.
Yeah.
But we can, and then you take that mindset, it goes throughout your life now. Where my life stinks, it's not working out right. You got all this stuff good going on, but that one little thing.
Can I tell you something? Because I think sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in the labels of things. So like for most people, C probably wouldn't be a good thing, but that can negate all the work that did go into getting that C. And the reason I say that is because I was a biology major and I did great, but it was the organic chemistry that got me.
Yeah.
And I worked hard and I graduated with a C in Orgo. But my professor, when I walked across the stage, she gave me the biggest hug and was like, you did it. You did it. I'm so proud of you. She's celebrating me over this C. you know? So I think sometimes we get so caught up in the C and saying, instead of looking at and appreciating all the work and the effort that you did to get to that point.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, I think we just get caught up in comparison sometimes that we don't realize how good we do.
Yeah. And it's not, I'm not saying that we should celebrate season below. It's
Right.
just teaching the focus. So for instance, say we focus most of the time on you did great in these areas, you did good in these areas, and maybe it's our presentation too.
Mhm.
Saying you did good in these great, we're using school, but you can fit this into any block of life. We're just
Mhm.
using the school thing as an example. Just fit it
Mhm.
wherever your life is. We talk to like kids,
You
and
got this, Tiffany.
yeah, you got it. And celebrated them for all the good. And then it's okay. Now you got this C. Let's work on this C. What do we need to do to help you get this C to a B or a C to whatever? I think how, especially, let's be real here, some black
Mhm.
households. And I am black households, some households where, you know, how we present increasing, doing better in a certain area is important. So do we just drop the hammer? You're going on punishment till the C becomes somewhere. You just, and become very overly hypercritical, or do we provide assistance to show them they can be better, celebrate the good, affirm them while making correction? I think sometimes how we correct
Yeah.
could be an issue too.
Yeah.
Because again, if you did 7 things right and it's good you did those, and then the one thing wrong, what's wrong with you? Da-da-da, you smart, da-da-da, and it can create a complex
Yeah.
in somebody. Like I'm probably will never be a great writer. I have great concepts, and I can probably write concepts in short. But a long form writing, English was always one of my hardest subjects. Uh, Not reading, not comprehensions, just putting it on paper. It may never be my strong suit, but math, I was good at math. I was good at science. History, I was great in history.
Mhm.
But language arts,
And that makes sense because I'm the opposite, and you're good at memorizing things.
well, yeah,
I'm not.
yeah,
English and arts and all that stuff were the areas that I excelled in, so that makes sense.
yeah. I would never tell nobody to do this, but some classes, and I was in high school, I would literally get to school, study for the test before class started, and pass it and get a
Oh,
higher
no.
grade than people that studied for a week. But those are my strong suits. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that was a good thing, but it was just a friend of mine. She's like, I can't believe you. She said, it's not fair. I studied for this thing the whole 2 weeks and we got the same grade, and you just start studying 5 minutes for the test. My retention of information and seeing stuff in those areas.
Mhm.
But in other areas, she was blowing me out because I wasn't as strong in those areas. I had to apply myself more. But the whole premise is, and I like how the book talks about, discover your strengths, perfect your strengths, and become good at what you're bad at. I think knowing what you're not good at is just as good as knowing what you're good at.
Absolutely.
And he said, spend more time on what you're good at than more than you do on what you, because some stuff you just will never be that great in.
And it's
It's,
okay.
it's a reliever. It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have to know calculus. I need to call somebody that knows calculus.
Mm-mm.
Here, figure this out for me. Or, help me out, please. I go to a doctor because I need the doctor to know more than me.
Mhm.
You know, but I think sometimes again it goes back to we focus so much on the worst, what we can't do, what we haven't done, rather than you know the stuff we do well, and that's a complex.
Yeah, it is. Because we wanna, come off like we can just do it all, and sometimes it's just other people know it, but sometimes it's hard just to admit that to ourselves that we can't do it all and that it's okay to ask for help and to seek help in the areas that you're not proficient in.
Yeah, yeah. And the problem is, here's the problem for those of you who had hypercritical parents. And I'm not talking about parents that every parent has to properly criticize in a good way
Mm-hmm.
to help grow their children. I'm talking about the real hyper critical where nothing you ever do is right. You know, as an adult, you still don't want to be around your parent because they kind of just harp on
Oh no.
the
Yeah.
worst. And there are people like that. The problem is this, and not even parents. Let's talk about this in general, because it could be a grandparent, it could be an aunt, uncle, be friend, whatever. If you're not careful, you'll adopt the language of your criticizer.
Yep.
It goes back to the question, who told you?
Mm-hmm.
You heard it from somebody, and then you start repeating it over and over again until you start to sound like the person, identify with the person. And now what the person says, you don't even have your own thoughts about it. Your thoughts are what they said.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of why we procrastinate, we're afraid to try stuff, we're afraid to do stuff, could come from somebody saying something to us, and that shaping how we see ourselves, our lifestyles, how we approach life. Because, you know, at some point in your life, somebody said something, and you took it and ran with it.
Yep.
And now we are our own worst critics. Ooh. So much so
Yeah.
that somebody can tell you, "Oh, that's so good," and you'll just tear it apart. No, it's not. Just
Yeah, all those little things that aren't right with it.
right, and just dismiss it. But then, crazy enough, if somebody comes to confirm what you think, you'll run with it. You will
Yeah.
run with it. The worst. You'll take that worst and run with it, like, and completely discard. Oh, you look so nice today. Oh, but I don't like this. You look so, everybody, 20, 30, 50 people, you look so nice. Oh, I love your dress. You look so nice. And one person, did you really, didn't you have something else better? I knew it wasn't good. And it's like, what is wrong with us? We look for the worst sometimes and only believe the worst. And not because of anything outside, but because of what we're saying to ourselves inside.
Yep. Mm-hmm. It confirms every little thing, every little piece of insecurity that we have.
Yeah. And when I do counseling, there are times where I'll ask somebody about something. I'm like, how's your relationship with your parents? They tell me. And, sometimes it does come from, uh, I think every parent needs to have a healthy expectation for their child.
Mm-hmm.
Healthy expectation. Healthy in what they can do, what they can't do, expectations, do good, do well in school, all that. But I think sometimes as parents, we often put our issues on our
Yep.
kids.
Mm-hmm.
And because we weren't good at something, or because we were good at something, you, my child, you should be good in that, rather than taking your child for who they are and molding them to be the strongest person they can be in their context.
Right.
Every child's different, and some will be this way, some will be this way. But our children can't make up for our failures or be good at stuff just because we were good at it.
Right.
I was good at math. How come you're not good at it? Because I'm not you.
I'm not me.
Right.
Yeah. We want to create these little clones of ourselves or better, but we forget like they're their own person. They're gonna have their own skills, their own failures,
Yeah.
and the best thing you can do is just support them through it all.
Yeah. Yeah. And help them be good at what they're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Help them in the areas where they're falling short to be better. Because yeah, I think that's important. But going back to what we were saying earlier, the critical voices in your head, you have to ask yourself the question: where did they come from?
Mm-hmm.
They didn't come out of nowhere. Every time you criticize yourself, every time you start going in on yourself, whose voice is that? Where did it start? Where did it come from?
Mm-hmm.
Because majority of our thoughts came from other people, not from us.
Right. And I think that's the perfect segue into what this whole sermon series we're in now is getting back into the rhythm of knowing, okay, who am I as a child of God and being able to discern his voice instead of all the chaos and the insecurities and all the things that are shouting at us, because once we get back into that rhythm of who we are, I can tell you want to say something smart to Kevin.
I do.
I can tell. That's when things will start to fall more in line.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, again, I think every parent has to be able to correct their child, have expectations for their child, hi Kevin, have expectations for their child. Um, but I think you know every child is different. You got to know who you can say what to what. Like you said, you never got a spanking before, right?
No, of course I got spanked.
You did
I just
really?
learned from them and didn't
Oh,
do it again.
oh,
So
yeah.
they're very,
Yeah.
limited.
Some kids can give you can give a look. Some talk to. Some need a little more. What's true? You seem like you was a little bad for a while. You was a little rebellious. Probably had too much chocolate milk when you shouldn't have had it.
I just got my mama's attitude, that's all.
Huh?
Yes, I just got my mom's attitude, that's all.
Well, you have your mother's attitude. Yes. Yes. You start to become Deacon LeBou.
Every now and then, I'm like, oh, wait a minute.
You are starting to become Deacon. I'm kidding. I'm playing. Kevin, we're talking about a bunch of stuff, but we're talking about being critical and all that. But uh, I think that going back to what we talked about earlier, learning how to find the source of our procrastination, the source of why we haven't started certain things, and not using our analysis to become an excuse not to do.
Mm-hmm.
I believe in being patient and taking your time to make sure timing and all this stuff is right, planning, all for that. But there comes a certain time. It's like somebody, I'm gonna start this business. It's been 30 years. I'm gonna start this. When are you gonna start? It's like, look, it's been,
Yeah.
comes a time where you got to jump out there. You got all the information. Just call it what it is. I'm scared to start. Just call it what it is. I'm afraid to try. Just
Mm-hmm.
say that. And discovering where our critical thoughts came from.
Mm-hmm.
We all have them. We all have critical thoughts. And the question is, who sowed that seed of criticism? Was it healthy or was it unhealthy? Uh, was because something can be said healthily and we take it the wrong way, but the premise is it all comes from somewhere, and we need to figure out, are these thoughts original to God for us, or did they come from something else? The devil couldn't kill you when you were a child, so if he can make you a dysfunctional adult, he has you.
Yeah.
If he can make you a dysfunctional adult, he has you.
Mm-hmm.
If you always remember that, you'll be careful about what you allow to dictate your life, because again, he allows those seeds of extreme criticism, and we will negatively affect our lives based off of some hypercritical nature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're almost done. It's a good conversation.
Hi, Felicia.
Anything you want? I'm Phil. I mean, not Phil. Will, I'm gonna look up those 4 quadrants of time management. I'm gonna look those up.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share before we go?
No, I mean, I think that's good. Like, I don't want us to be self-sabotaging. So being able to take a moment and to really ask ourselves these questions, where's this, criticalness coming from? I think that's a great first start. And taking that first step is always the hardest. But once you get going, it starts to come a little bit more freely. So,
Yeah, it's starting to counter those. Um, it takes no intelligence to assess the worst.
mm-hmm,
Intelligence to assess the best
mm-hmm,
and what's good. After you assess every reason why you can't do it or what's wrong, I need you to go look and see what can be done, what's right, all that. And then once you do that, then you can make a decision. If you haven't done both sides, don't do it.
right.
But we have a tendency to lean towards the can't, that thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so what's going on this week?
So this week, this is the extra week. So we have, of course, a rebroadcast tonight of yesterday's message. I hear something. Definitely check it out because it was good. I forgot to mention we also have the recap. So we'll be talking about the message and what we learned from it tonight at 5:30. by the message at 7.
Okay.
And then on Wednesday, we're at Impact Gathering with Pastor Nick and Bishop. Can you give us a little preview of what we can look forward to?
I'm hoping to finish this whole endurance thing.
Okay.
We've been on it for weeks.
I thought you said that a while ago.
That's what I did say, but it's like it just keeps growing and growing and growing. I'm hoping to finish it this week, and then next week we'll start on something I'm excited about, being partakers of the divine nature.
Mm.
And it's teaching on being Christ-like in an interesting way. So
that's good. Cool. I'm excited for that. And Saturday on Point Radio, again with Bishop and Pastor Nick, talking about politics, culture, just things that are happening in the world. Emerging worship at 6 p.m. and then a full day of worship on Sunday, which is first Sunday. So of course on Saturday we'll be distributing communion elements, Sunday as well, and then weather permitting, you can come out for Sunday service and then communion online Sunday.
Yep. And we could have had service yesterday too.
I thought it, but wasn't gonna say it.
I'm sitting there like, but I mean, at first it got dark around like 9-10 o'clock.
It
got windy. I said, okay, it's gonna start. And then
it's probably around 1 o'clock-ish. There was a big boom of thunder. So I was like, okay, it's coming. It did rain.
But the crazy thing is, I think it rained around where I am, but I was in Summerdale, and it didn't even rain over there.
Yeah.
And it's like, what happened? I thought it was supposed to be, it must have been a quick shower then. It must not have been long.
Yeah. Well, better safe than sorry.
Yeah. Okay. All right, y'all. We'll see you all later, and bye.
Bye.